So, I mean, this is the first time you come, and visit us in Mexico, and in a way, the first time you are exposed in live to Colectiva. So, what are your first impressions of this program?
Of the Colectiva program? Well, it's incredibly inspiring because you see a lot of passion and energy, not just from the women who are going to be involved in the program as mentors and mentees, but from all the allies and the men, in the office as well, who are just serving as like such strong advocates for the program and who have acknowledged that there is great opportunity in making sure that there's gender equity, especially at leadership levels of the agency. And so I think it's striking, to see such like an open acknowledgement and acceptance that there is opportunity and that the agency can do better in that regard. And I think even though, the TERAN, specifically their numbers for women in leadership, particularly creative, is a bit higher, I think, than some other areas within, Latin America, but still, they've acknowledged like they can do better. And so I think the openness to that and sort of the fight within the agency to say, we're pushing for more, like it's not good enough just to settle with what we have, but we want to continue to like work hard to advance this. And I think Colectiva, the program, and I've said this many times, but it's not just focused on just getting representation within the agency. It's about how do you help support and the women in these roles that you can position them for future success in leadership roles.
And what would you say, and I know we know the answer, but what would you say like diversity is so important, but especially important in creative departments?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, we work in the creative industry where in order to have the best ideas that are relevant to various communities, of like the full population, that we're serving, you have to be curious and open and have people who have perspectives that are from experiences that are dramatically different from each other. You can't have good ideas that aren't fully inclusive of those communities. And so it's absolutely critical in order to do good work to have that kind of diversity modeled within the agency, because those are where the ideas are generating from.
And I mean, Colectiva focuses on leadership, but there's like a big pillar that is that the leadership training comes through the mentorship. So I understand you've been exposed to, your own mentorship experience. Like, what do you think is the strength of that? Like, the power of mentorship?
Oh gosh. Like two things specifically. I think first, the storytelling piece and understanding that some of the challenges that feel so specific to you as an individual and that oftentimes make you feel really alone aren't just unique to you. Like there's so many other women that have those same challenges, and it's important to expose those, to say, to call them out for what they are, and to give people the opportunity to talk about that out loud so that they can hear like other people are facing those same challenges. And then what it does is it gives you creative solutions for how to address those. You hear from people who handle it in a very different way than maybe you would have, that is really beneficial, because sometimes you're stuck with your narrow view or perspective of how you can, become unstuck. And so hearing from other women tell their stories and how they were able to, come out of those positions and accomplish success is really, really critical. But I think probably the most important thing is the community that this provides, and feeling like you belong to something, that you're here for a reason. And sometimes, a lot of times, people who get to know you, both personally and professionally, see things in you that you don't even see in yourself. And that is so important, for telling you to go for something or reach higher in ways that you might not have done if you were on your own. So I think they help inspire you. They help you see things about yourself that are valuable that you might not know are truly valuable.
And in your experience, what is the bigger barrier that women have, when it comes to achieving these leadership positions? Like both, like I guess, like contextual barrier, but also like internal barrier.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point, because we've focused often on external barriers, meaning, bias and stereotypes, and that is truly one of the biggest challenges, is some of like facing the traditional stereotypes that, you know, people have around women in business. But to your point, I mean, I think it's so true, as though you internalize those things, and then sometimes you stand in your own way and you talk yourself out of, you know, behaving in a certain way, or feeling as though ambition is something that's negative, you know, versus something that's positive. And so I think you're dealing not just with the external barriers that, you know, outside and external, you know, people provide, but it's also being able to stand within yourself and not let the noise of all of those things impact how you feel about yourself and your ability to really reach higher.
And if you, just to close, right, but if you would like to give one advice, you know, to women in creative that, like, you know, they're entering the market and, like, they're dreaming of that, you know, creative leadership position, but what would that be?
Yeah, gosh, that's a hard question, because I think there are a lot of pieces of advice I've received over the years, but probably the one that is the most personal to me is that a lot of times women are waiting for someone else to notice them and to give them a helping hand. And the person you're waiting for is you. You have to be the one to say, I'm ready, and decide for yourself that you're going to move forward and take a step forward. Once you do that, it's magical how people and external circumstances align in order to help get you there. But you have to be the one to decide, I'm ready for this, and realize that you have the tools that you need to do that, but that oftentimes they just lay dormant because you're waiting for somebody else to come rescue you.
So thank you for being here today and just, you know, talking to us.
Thank you so much.